Hi everybody, welcome to our YouTube channel. I figured we would just do like a quick introduction as to what our dream is, how we got started, and kind of our experience throughout the process of building our dream shipping container home and just building a debt-free lifestyle. Um, my name is Christy.
I'm Mike.
That's my husband. We were born and raised in a small town of Lockhart outside of the big city, Orlando. Um, we've been together 11 years, married almost one. Um, Ever since we can remember, we've always wanted to build our dream shipping container house and live the debt free lifestyle. We've literally researched for years and years about how we were going to do everything. And we kind of just had our plan in the back of our mind. And we rented a house, our first house together, for about a year in Apopka, Florida, not too far from Lockhart. And after about a year, we were offered an amazing deal on a house just a little further in Winter Garden. So we bought the house and lived there about a year before we started living paycheck to paycheck. Bills were going up, mortgage was going up. Um, our dog that we had fell very ill, so we were just loaded with vet bills, all while planning a wedding. We would travel an hour or more to work every day in just backed up bumper to bumper traffic. Um, so finally, we were just kind of getting fed up with things and decided that the container life would be best for us, and what better time than now to get started with everything. So we spoke with our friend Mark Johnson, and he was able to put our house on the market for us last December 2019. And it seemed like it took forever for the house to sell, but in actuality, only like a couple months later, we had all of our things packed up. Here it is. We are officially cleaned up and have just about everything out of the house. This is what's going in our camper. It's looks like a lot, but we'll see how everything fits. It is so bittersweet. That was our bedroom. This is the bathroom. We have everything out, just about, besides our personal stuff. I'm definitely gonna miss this place. Everything worked, and we had hot water and air conditioning, which was something we didn't really have in our old house. Big rooms. And here's our kitchen. And it overlooks the pasture and everything in the workshop. But as you can see outside, it's very, well, not right now, but we usually have a lot of traffic out front and it's pretty noisy. But we love the property. We had almost 3 acres here with all the goats and the pigs and the workshop. So yeah, we are selling this to live in a camper until we get property that we can build something on. And this is just all part of the progress. We still have a long way to go. And everything just kind of happened really quick. We were able to use our tax return money to go out and buy a camper. which we plan to take to a friend's house, Sky. And she and her, I should say husband, were nice enough to let us stay on their property. And we had 2 pigs, 8 goats, and like 9 chickens at that point that we had to bring with us. So they were nice enough to let us stay there on the property while we got our game plan together and have our animals there. Well, since I have a minute, I figured I would just stop and reflect on everything happening this week. We close on our house Friday. Today is Wednesday. So we have moved everything out of our house this week. We got a camper and moved into it. We moved all of our animals out of the pasture over to our friend's house, which is where the camper is going to go, hopefully tonight. We have 8 chickens, 9 goats, and 2 pigs that we moved. We've taken multiple loads to a storage unit because obviously not everything fits in the camper. So about 3/4 of our stuff is in storage. 25% is with us, and then the other 25% is over at our friends that we're going to be staying at here shortly. So yeah, let me see. This is the house. We have completely everything out besides our bed, which we're about to grab after I do my last load of laundry. So everything is completely out and clean, including our basement and Mike's workshop, which took the longest to move. So yeah, it's been a crazy week, working full-time, both of us, on top of all this. So it's definitely been an adventure. We are beyond exhausted, but at the same time, we're just really excited and ready to start our new adventure. So yeah, I just figured I'd reflect a little bit and just document our adventure. Here's the rest of the stuff in the camper. We have no animals left, at least not here. Yeah, everything is done. This is our old basement. Hi, Mikey. Super exhausted. Yeah, just waiting on the clothes to dry. So this is our storage unit. Oh my god. This is crazy.
Yeah, they got room for something else.
You need that big old coffee cooler in there. So, that was last March, and that's when the COVID-19 hit and kind of fumbled our plans for buying property and building the house. I was working from home, and I figured that would be our income while Mike was building on the house. And then if needed, I could come down and help him. And then of course after work, I could really put time in with him. But those plans fumbled. I was furloughed from my job. And then shortly after, Mikey's job fell through. So we were both left with no job. Everybody knows that we were in lockdown, so we thought what better way to prioritize our time than to go out and look for properties. We always dreamed about we had 3 acres, but we always dreamed of having around 5 to 10 to start a farm and just live a little more self-sustainably. So we started to look around where our friend lived in Georgia, Gabe, and he's always wanted us to come live up more towards like the Florida Panhandle, Georgia area, so we could be near him. And so we decided we'll take a trip and go see him and scope out some properties in the North Florida, Georgia area, which we love. I've had family in Alabama, Georgia all my life, so I'm familiar with the area, the terrain, things like that. So we came up to see him, and we had a few properties picked out, and we were going to look at them the day after. And the morning we were going to look at the properties, there was one that popped up that morning. And Mikey was like, we're going to look at it.
It's gonna happen.
So we rush over to this property, and we pull up big gates and everything, pull through the gates, and we just fell in love with the property. So Mikey, right away, he calls the realtor, and I'm like sweating at this point because it's such a big decision. But he's great with the decision making, so I had full trust in him. He calls the realtor, and the realtor's like, we told him about our dreams about building the house and everything, and she goes, well, this is actually the perfect place for it, because there are no restrictions, no permits that you would have to pull. This is basically the land of do whatever you want. So it was perfect in his mind, and he went ahead and put in an offer for less than the listing value, and the owner accepted it, and all of a sudden we were owners of 34 acres. So after that, we went back to Florida, to where we had our camper at, and kind of started pulling things out of our storage unit. We had about 25% of our stuff in the camper, and then the other stuff, all Mike's tools, everything we had in our old house was in the storage unit. So we started to clean that out. What we did is we rented the biggest U-Haul we could find and loaded that with our storage stuff. We have the camper that Mikey towed behind the U-Haul. I had my truck with our side-by-side in a trailer, and then my mom and her boyfriend had their truck and trailer with our lawnmower and Mikey's whole entire welding trailer in that. Sky and her kids followed us up in my truck, just for good moral support. And everybody kind of got together up here and helped us unpack and settle in. And then it was kind of just me and Mikey for the first while there. That was the beginning of April.
3.
I would say 3 weeks later, my dad, who's a land surveyor, he was going to stop in to help us survey our property. And while he was here surveying, just out of the blue one night, we were having a cookout, and we went to go in the camper to rest our heads for the night, and we had no idea. The service out here isn't that great. We didn't have internet, barely had phone signal, so we had no idea what was to come. So we go to sleep, and we ended up being hit by an EF2 tornado, which was probably the most terrifying thing that's happened in our lives. It was really rough welcoming, but at the same time, I mean, we were all okay, thank goodness. And all we had was a tree fall on our storage shed, and then we had some damage to some outbuildings, and then there was a huge tree that fell in our driveway and brought the water main up with it, so we ended up losing like 11,000 gallons of water. So like I said, it was kind of a rough welcoming, but at the same time, we were able to meet our neighbors. They came right down to our rescue and helped us get the tree off our shed and clear our driveway, and offered help fixing the water main. And out of such a rough experience, we actually got to meet our neighbors, and it ended up being a really good experience afterwards.
Oh, so here's the aftermath of the storm. We were staying in the camper here. Thank God everyone was okay in there. But we had like a carport, like a little hangar sitting here over top of Mike's trailer there, and it just totally picked up. A tree snapped and fell on our storage, but the carport picked up and took out the damn power pole. And there's the carport laying out there. And then our shed over in here, we had a little white shed, and it just totally disappeared. So I guess it could have been worse, but now we have to find a place to store our things in, which we don't have.
Just looking back, everything just kind of fell into place, just better than we could have asked for. We have just this beautiful 34 acres, nothing but farmland, nature, wilderness around us. Like I said, we have the best neighbors we could ask for. Our family support throughout our whole journey, they're right behind us. And we're just really, looking back now, we're glad that we chose to do the container life. So we figured we'd just kind of give you guys a quick introduction as to how we got here, our whole moving experience, our experience when we got here, and what's kind of led up to this point. Tried to keep it kind of short and not bore you guys to death, but I promise in the next video I will show you guys, since we've been here since April now, we're going to kind of show you guys, take a step back in time, which is kind of difficult. Take a step back and kind of show you guys our first videos and pictures that we got when we actually started to create our shipping container home. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to touch base on the steps leading up to that. And like I said, there's definitely more to come. This is just our introduction, and I hope you guys like the videos and pictures that I've kind of added in with this video to show you guys what we were actually feeling, seeing during these times. just kind of reflecting back to show you guys what brought us here. And in the next video, we'll show you guys the beginning of the container build to where we're at now, so we can kind of catch up. And then from there on out, we're going to try to post maybe one good video a week or every other week on our progress, and we're going to get into more detail as to what we're actually doing and focus more on the little steps and showing you guys just how we're actually putting everything together instead of just little tidbits like we have been doing. So I hope you guys enjoy this. If you have any questions throughout our journey, throw them in the comments. Please subscribe, like our channel, and I hope you guys stay tuned for more.